202. I just had 200.
Yes, 202. So last week we were talking about animal and plant classifications and the different ways that scientists classify plants and animals based on their body structures or based on their behaviors.
And also we learned about the female and male of plants.
Yes, and so we learned lots of different information about plants and animals and how they're categorized last week. This week we're going to be looking at animal adaptations. So on page 202, starting off talking about adaptations. Bless you. And I look up here and I see this cute little rabbit, the snowshoe hare. And then down here I see another rabbit, and this is the black-tailed jackrabbit.
His eyeball.
So they're clearly in the same family, excuse me, of animals. Excuse me. But they look very different. And we're going to read about why they look different. Animals and plants inherit characteristics from their parents.
Oh wait, never mind, you're recording.
I am. These special features and behaviors help them survive. An adaptation is a physical feature or behavior that helps an organism survive in its environment. An environment is everything that surrounds a living thing. Organisms with useful adaptations for their environment are more likely than other organisms to get the resources that they need. What type of resources would an animal need to survive?
Well, they would need food.
Mm-hmm.
They would also need water, like
Yep.
some drink.
Mm-hmm.
They would need a place to live,
Okay, shelter, yep.
and they would also need a place where they could stay protected
Mhm.
and safe from
Mhm.
the harsh cold weather.
Mhm.
They like warm blooded or cold blooded or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And also they also need what else do they need?
But basically, all of those things that you mentioned are all things that the animal gets from its environment. So the animal gets all of that stuff from its environment. So if an animal is well suited for its environment, it's much more likely to survive. For example, a polar bear has very thick white fur. It is on top of a thick layer of very dense black fur. And underneath that is a very dense, thick layer of blubber. And underneath that is all the musculature and all of that. But why do they need all that fur and blubber?
To stay warm.
To stay warm because their environment is so cold. So if we took a polar bear and we transplanted that polar bear and moved them to South Carolina and did not change their environment from what South Carolina is like in the summertime, do you think that polar bear would find it easy to survive? No, because it would probably overheat. And it would also be taken away from the food and the food sources that it eats.
And plus, because of climate change, more and more of the polar bear habitats, like more and more of the ice.
It's melting, yes.
Yeah, and more of the habitats in the Arctic are being destroyed. So, you know why polar bears are like so much bigger, so big, like grizzly bears and stuff like that?
Tell me.
It's because, first of all, they're environment. And second, how they're black. Third, they need to be big. They also need big, and they don't just stay warm because of their, all their fur. They also stay warm because on how big they are on their body heat.
Mm.
And with their body heat, the more they eat, kind of like bears how they hibernate.
Mm-hmm.
Those stay warm.
Good to know.
That's why they're so big.
So if they survive, they are more likely to reproduce and pass their adaptations to their young. Plants and animals in different areas have different adaptations. A plant or animal adapted to one ecosystem may not survive in a different ecosystem. Hares that live in snowy environments have different adaptations from hares that live in a desert. So a hare from a snowy environment might not survive in a desert. Unlike snowshoe hares, black-tailed jackrabbits and desert cottontails are adapted to hot, dry climates. Both are common in the dry grasslands and desert areas of the United States. The native grasses and desert shrubs provide food and shelter for the animals. Their light brown coloring helps them hide from predators. Also, you see how long the jackrabbit's ears are? They use that to let the heat out. So those are kind of like giant air conditioners for them. Kind of interesting. All right. Animal adaptations. Like jackrabbits and desert cottontails, nighthawks hunt early in the morning and late at nightfall. A nighthawk's beak looks tiny when closed. However, its mouth opens wide, allowing the bird to scoop up insects as it swoops through the air. A roadrunner has a very different beak. The roadrunner hunts insects, snakes, lizards, scorpions, and other small prey on the ground. It uses its long, sharp beak to catch and hold its food.
There's a reason why it's called the roadrunner. It's fast.
Yes.
Yeah. Really fast.
So,
Fly, though.
animals are not the only organisms that have adaptations for their environment. Plants also do. Desert grasses and shrubs are adapted to hot, dry conditions. The grasses grow in clumps with space between the clumps. Their roots spread out near the surface. The spacing and the wide root system help the grasses capture the nutrients and scarce water from the soil. Some woody plants, such as creosote bushes, have a combination of surface roots and roots that grow deep into the soil. This root system helps the plants use both rainwater and water stored deeper underground. The creosote plant also has small waxy leaves. This helps prevent water loss. The yucca plant has long, narrow, thick-skinned leaves. They also help hold in water. More animal adaptations. Isn't he cute?
I think on mine. Yes, more.
Tigers are my favorite animal.
I like tigers too.
Wait, do we
Why
I've petted tigers.
It's so
I'm not. I've petted tigers.
What?
Why would I be?
I
Is it
had
cute?
a petting zoo, but they had a zoo Discord.
It was friendly.
At the zoo, you could feed them.
Oh, we see a red tail hawk
I got
fly
a steak and you put meat on it.
across our car before.
Mm.
It's actually pretty
My
cool.
friend, meet the deer. Oh, trust me. Can I tell you something that I would not expect? Don't mess. It wasn't adult. Don't mess with honeybirds that are at the zoo. I mess with honeybirds at my house, but don't mess with honeybirds at the zoo.
What are honeybirds?
Dang thing bit my sheep. Another one tried to bite my tongue off.
Why did you have your tongue out at the birds?
I just.
Oh. All right.
Oh, there's more.
First thing
I'm
I said.
All right,
"Hey,
let's-
do we have some pollen?"
Let's keep going.
No, and then birds just come.
Animals have many adaptations that help them survive in their environments. Some adaptations, such as sharp beaks, teeth, or claws, may help them get food. Other adaptations, such as stingers, quills, smelly sprays, or bitter-tasting flesh, protect some animals from being eaten by predators. Bright colors, like those of the monarch butterfly, may warn predators that the animal is poisonous. Some adaptations for moving help an animal protect itself. For example, fins enable a fish to swim away from its enemies. Birds' wings help them quickly move if they need to get away from predators or cold weather. Hibernation, or a state of rest, is a behavior that helps some animals survive low temperatures. Some animals that hibernate include bats, chipmunks, and marmots. Okay, we have some different animal adaptations we can examine over here. We've got porcupines. They live in grasslands and other areas. Thank you. The quills are very sharp. The quills protect the porcupine against predators. Poison dart frog lives in a South American rainforest. Its bright colors warns predators that it is poisonous.
Yes, because it is poisonous. Because so like any animal that comes near is like, should I eat fish or should I risk being poisoned?
The white-faced ibis, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Ibis, something. Lives in marshes, swamps, and rivers. It uses its long curved beak to probe for snails, worms, frogs, and other food in shallow waters and mud.
Does it say where it lives?
Just in swamps and marshes and rivers. This red-tailed hawk hunts in forests and fields. It has a sharp curved beak that can hold and tear prey it finds.
I see a lot of hawks at my neighborhood.
Chameleons live in the desert and tropical areas. Their long tongues stretch to catch insects. More plant adaptations. Maybe. More plant adaptations. Like animals, plants have many adaptations that help them survive in their environments. Some adaptations, such as cactus thorns, protect plants from harm. Other adaptations help plants reproduce. These adaptations may help plants pollinate or spread their seeds. Adaptations such as harmful oils and thorns may protect a plant from being eaten. Other adaptations allow plants to survive in extreme conditions. For example, sundew plants that live in nutrient-poor soil have a sticky substance that attracts insects. These insects provide nutrients to the plant.
I've had a sundew plant a long time ago from Old Creek Nursery. He survived for about 3 months or so until he started to die.
Shrivel up.
I mean, he did eat a lot of bugs, but he died.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It happens. Some flowering plants depend on insects or other animals to pollinate their flowers. This is how they make new plants. The flower of a bee orchid looks like a bee. This adaptation helps the orchid attract insects. All right, so we are going to be looking at animal adaptations this week and the ways in which animals and plants adapt to survive their environment.